Well, good evening and welcome. The BJP has made light of Rahul Gandhi's allegation at Cambridge University that he was being snooped upon, saying that the Congress leader was hallucinating, and makes such claims as he wants to create headlines wherever he travels. During his lecture at Cambridge University, Rahul Gandhi alleged that Indian democracy is under threat and that several politicians, including he, are under surveillance. That's our first debate. But later on the show, the other top story today, a Karnataka BJP MLA has been named as the main accused after an eye-popping mountain of cash worth over 8 crores was found in searches at his home and office, and his bureaucrat son was caught accepting a bribe. That's a huge embarrassment for the party trying to woo voters for elections later this year. But first, a look at Rahul Gandhi's remarks at Cambridge University, which have sparked, perhaps expectedly, a huge political row.
In the Constitution, India is described as a union of states. And that union requires a negotiation, requires a conversation. And it's that negotiation that is actually coming under attack and under threat. Right? Here you can see that picture. That picture is taken in front of Parliament House to
a political slugfest over this lecture by Congress leader Rahul Gandhi at the Cambridge University on Tuesday, where he shared this picture of himself being held by a policeman during a protest outside Parliament and said the basic structure of Indian democracy is under attack. In his lecture, Mr. Gandhi also claimed Israeli spyware Pegasus was being used to snoop into his phone.
The institutional framework which is required for a democracy, parliament, a free press, the judiciary, just the idea of mobilization, just the idea of moving around, these are all getting constrained. So we are facing an attack on the basic structure of Indian democracy. I myself had Pegasus on my phone. Large number of politicians have Pegasus on their phone. I've been called by intelligence officers who tell me, listen, please be careful what you're saying on the phone, because we are sort of recording this stuff.
Top Modi government ministers have now hit back, saying Mr. Gandhi was trying to defame the country and was jealous of Prime Minister Modi's popularity.
और ये रोने धोने का काम राहुल गांधी जब विदेशी धरती पे फिर एक बार कर रहे हैं, नतीजे क्या आएंगे उनको पता था, और ये पेगासस कहीं और नहीं उनके दिलो दिमाग पर बैठा हुआ है। दुनिया भर में मोदी जी के प्रति जो सम्मान बढ़ा है, जो भारत का मान सम्मान बढ़ा है मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, वो आज कोई और नहीं, दुनिया भर के बड़े बड़े नेता कह रहे हैं। राहुल जी किसी और की नहीं, कम से कम इटली के प्राइम मिनिस्टर और उनके नेताओं की तो सुन लेते हैं।
उनकी बातों का क्या कहना, उनकी सुई कहीं एक जगह अटक गई है, उनको थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ने की जरूरत है।
The latest confrontation between Rahul Gandhi and the BJP follows the Congress leaders' Bharat Jodo Yatra, where both the Congress and the BJP took pot shots at each other, all through Mr. Gandhi's 136 days, 3,500 plus kilometer foot march across the country. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, joining us now, the senior BJP leader KJ Alphonse. We're also joined by Shama Mohammed. Shama, let me come to you first. As far as the allegation on his phone being spied on, there was this entire process whereby phones were required to be submitted. Was there any evidence that Rahul Gandhi's phones did have Pegasus on it?
See, when the Prime Minister of India was asked in Parliament and the Bharatiya Janata Party was asked in Parliament, did you use Pegasus or not? They have not yet said whether they used it or not. Why don't they come out and say, we did not use it? Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Vishnu, them saying that they did not use it? They have not said anything on Pegasus. So we want to know, did they use it or not? Number one. Number two, I heard the sports minister saying something, how Rahul Gandhi has said something against the Prime Minister. Now I'm going to tell you certain, please give me some time. Modi in China 2015. Earlier, this is what he said. when you went abroad. Earlier, you felt ashamed of being born Indian. Now you feel proud to represent the country. Indians abroad had all hope for a change. This is what he said. In South Korea, earlier people would lament, they would ask what sin they had committed to have been born in India. Can you believe that, saying on foreign soil by Narendra Modi? Let me give you one more. In Oman, in Muscat, PM Modi accused the previous Congress-led government of corruption. Is this how a prime minister should behave abroad? Let me ask you that. He goes out and insults not just the Congress party, but Indians. He says it was a sin to be born in India before 2014. He's insulting our freedom fighters. He's insulting Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He's insulting Mahatma Gandhi. He's insulting Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
All right, 1 second, Shama. Let's get a response from Mr. Alphonse.
One last point, one more point before he comes in. And he also says, one more thing he said is the far-right leader, the Prime Minister of Italy is saying Modi is a great leader. Let's not forget what Obama said. Obama said Mr. Manmohan Singh is his guru. He's the historic figure. And he's my great friend. And let's also understand the civil nuclear deal in 2000.
All right, no, come on now, Shama, let's not go that far right now. Let's get Mr. Alphonse in. Sir, thanks very much for being with us. Firstly, the allegation that his phone was spied on, and apparently intelligence people told him it was. Deal with that first. We'll deal with the rest of what Shama mentioned and get your reaction. But the spying allegation is very serious. Mr. Alphonse,
Vishnu, every time Mr. Rahul Gandhi opens his mouth, it's a huge embarrassment to the country and of course also to his own party. He doesn't read, he doesn't listen to people. I wonder if he's ever read a book, ever read a report. I don't know. I was in the parliament. I was a minister when he was a member of parliament. See, he's raised some basic issues that democracy in India is in danger. The basic structure of democracy is in danger. And he's of course mentioned a few things like parliament, the press and the judiciary. Let's start with the parliament. Has Modi stopped any member of parliament from speaking in the parliament? You take the parliament records. They've been free to say whatever they want. And of course, it's a completely off the criminal proceedings, whatever cities in the parliament, they have said whatever they wanted in the parliament. Nobody has ever been stopped from saying in the parliament. And how is the parliament elected? It is elected by the most respected, by the most sacrosanct institution of the country, the Election Commission.
So basically what you're saying is that our democratic traditions are intact. I get that, sir. I understand that what you're saying is that our democracy traditions are intact.
All right. Yes. And just yesterday, the results of the election to 3 states in the northeastern states came. Election perfectly held, and the people came and voted in very large percentages. And here it is, BJP has come to power.
So, Mr. Alphonse, can you just answer one direct question?
Government in this country. And
Mr. Alphonse, one direct question. Rahul Gandhi says that his phone was spied on using Pegasus software. I'm just asking you, is Pegasus software used in India?
You won't have an answer.
See, Vishnu, this entire issue went to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court debated at length on this issue. And they came to the conclusion that Pegasus was not used in India. Now, either Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party believes in the Supreme Court of India or they don't. We believe in the Supreme Court. The people of India believe in the Supreme Court. And therefore, for him to go abroad and say that, I'm being spied on, some intelligence officer told him, and Indian politicians are being spied on him. You tell us, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, do you believe in the constitutional institutions of this country? When the Supreme Court, after hearing all parties, including your
Alphonse,
party,
I get the point
that Pegasus was not used, people were not being spied on.
I take the point, Mr. Alphonse, that you're mentioning about Pegasus. It's gone up in the Supreme Court. But why does the BJP get so worried about when Rahul Gandhi goes abroad and speaks his mind? He's allowed to do that. Why, as a nation, are we so insecure? What has he said? He says, for example, that the media in this country is no longer independent. That's one of the points that he's mentioned. The Supreme Court of India said the same thing yesterday. He's spoken about democratic institutions and the need to protect it. The Supreme Court said that yesterday as well. So it's almost as if he's repeated, but using his own words, what the Supreme Court in that landmark judgment said. So why is it that we are so worried about what he said?
We are not worried at all, Vishnu. The problem is every time he opens his mouth, he puts his foot in his mouth. That is the problem. And also he is such a great embarrassment to the country. Here is a country which is now the focus of the whole world where we have done things. Take for example the judiciary, which he says is not functional at all because the government doesn't let it function. Yesterday, just yesterday, the Supreme Court came out with a landmark judgment saying that election commissioners will be selected by a committee. Now, isn't the judiciary free? You look at the kind of judgments which have come out in the past 2 weeks, 2 months. In each of these cases, the Supreme Court has come out with landmark judgments which is asserted their freedom. India is a country where the pillars of democracy are respected, parliament is respected, the judiciary is respected, the press can write whatever they want, they can broadcast whatever they want. I don't know in which world Rahul Gandhi lives. I mean,
that's
I don't
not
understand.
What the Supreme Court seems to suggest,
goes abroad at a time when India is the fastest growing economy in the world,
that all of
where
our
India is doing
institutions
extremely well.
are not working transparently. From the Election Commission to the media, there is a lack of transparency and they aren't working together as a collective. Be that as it may, Shama Mohammed, let me ask you this question. Why does Rahul Gandhi feel the need to go abroad to criticize India? Is it because he's not being heard over here?
No, before I come to that, he said the parliament is free. Why was Rahul Gandhi's, this time, whatever he said in parliament against Mr. Adani expunged? Tell me that. You said the parliament is a free place. Then you say that we have a free country. Why was Pawan Khera arrested? That is undeclared emergency. When he said something, you sent police to arrest him from Assam to Delhi. But 2 boys, Nasir and Junaid, are burned alive in Haryana just because they were transporting a cow. The Rajasthan CM is saying that the Haryana police are not doing their job. Why don't you find out who did it and hang them? Your PCC president in Meghalaya says you can eat beef, but there were 2 boys who were just transporting. You killed them, burned them alive, and then the perpetrators of the crime are just walking around because they're Bajrang Dal, they are the police and farmers of Haryana. So answer that. Rahul Gandhi, whatever he said, just like Vishnu Shom said just now, the media is not free. That's what the Supreme Court said. Nobody is going against the Supreme Court. Why has the Supreme Court come down heavily on the Election Commission of India and said that the appointment should involve a committee involving the Leader of Opposition, the Chief Justice of India, as well as the Prime Minister, because you are just appointing anybody who wants, and the election commissioner is doing whatever he wants. Never in the history, Vishnu, has the election commissioner, chief election commissioner, been summoned to the PMO. It happened last year during the Modi regime. This is what is happening. Everybody to follow the rules. You know what is happening with media. Why was Siddiq Kappan in jail for more than 2 years? Because he was covering Hathras. You had a UAP on him. No FIR, no evidence, nothing. The poor guy is out now. So you have to understand, journalists, anybody who speaks against this government go behind bars. That is what it is. But anybody is with this government, they are free and roaming around.
Okay, one sec. Mr. Alphonse, would you like to...
And Rahul Gandhi, whatever he said, one last point, whatever he said is what is happening.
Okay.
And so why, no, Vishnu, you should ask him, why did the Prime Minister say...
No, Shama, let me ask him, if you let me ask him, no, you made your point, Shama. Got it. Shama, hang on.
That. Why did Prime Minister
No, Shama, now if you're going to keep on going on, then it's a bit...
say all these things?
Right.
He needs to answer that.
Right.
Why did the Prime Minister of India say all these
Shama, are you done now? Can I ask Mr. Alphonse? Mr. Alphonse, please do reply.
Him.
Please go ahead. She's made lots of points. Go ahead, sir.
See, problem, Vishnu, this man opens his mouth and whatever comes out, he speaks. Take, for example, he says, he and a few other people...
He did not interrupt you, Shama. Shama, he did not interrupt you.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Shama, he did not interrupt you.
I'm not open to be interrupted.
Mr. Alphonse, go ahead.
He said... Yes, Rahul Gandhi says, me and a few other people were discussing some ideas in front of the Parliament House. We were arrested very violently. Now, what kind of a hallucination is this? What kind of a lie is this? You are going abroad and you are perpetuating such lies about the freedom of Indian democracy, the freedom which people enjoy, parliamentarians enjoy. I was member of the same parliament. I was a minister in this government. I never seen anybody getting arrested inside the Parliament House. Yes, if you are going to storm the Parliament House, yes, you might get arrested. Now, regarding Pawan Khera, Shama was talking about it. The counsel for Mr. Pavan Khera apologized profusely in the Supreme Court and said, sorry, this is something which you should have never said. He should have never said, and therefore please grant him bail. And therefore the Supreme Court granted. And therefore, Shyama, when you try to defend the indefensible, please be sure the people of this country are watching. They are seeing the huge developments, the huge infrastructure Modi government has built for the poor people of this country. From houses to drinking water to toilets to healthcare, everybody is watching this. So when you come out and say, sorry, people are being denied freedom, democracy is dysfunctional, all this is such a huge lie. And right. Why do you have to embarrass yourself by going and talking abroad, all this kind of nonsense?
So you have to answer why Junaid and Nasir's killers are not yet arrested.
Look, let's wrap this part of this discussion up.
Why are you going slow on that?
1 minute.
One minute.
No, I'm sure there are lots of questions and answers.
Rahul Gandhi did not say that we were arrested inside the
parliament. So Shyama,
he's lying.
No, Shyama, if you're going to start talking over me, not listening to anything, then how does one do a proper debate? I'm out of time on this segment. I've got you for my next segment. I need to structure a program in a particular way, so please do bear with me. We'll have you back on in just half a second. Mr. Alphonse, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to move on now to our next focus. A Karnataka BJP MLA has been named as the main accused after an eye-popping mountain of cash worth over 8 crores was found in searches at his home and office, and his bureaucrat son was caught accepting a bribe. That's what officials say, and what is a huge embarrassment for the BJP trying to woo voters for elections later this year. Shyama stays with us. We're also joined by Pramila Nisargi, the senior advocate and leader of the BJP in Karnataka. Pramila ji, the opposition in Karnataka has made lots of allegations about the BJP being corrupt even before this took place, and now mountains of cash have been found. So what does the BJP have to say?
You must know from whom the cash was taken. It is not from the MLA's house. MLA is residing somewhere else in the Dollars colony. A2 is his son. He is residing separately in Sanjay Nagar. And that was not taken from his. He has a separate office in Crescent Road. It is his personal office. You must know who this person Prashant is. He was the chief accountant of BWSSB. Are you aware that about 5-10 years back, when Mr. Siddaramaiah was the CM, this fellow was involved in 55 crores misappropriation. This Prashant. Then the hustler. Enquiry was held and he was dropped. Then the matter has been, even the complaint was lodged before ACB. Before that, Siddaramaiah took away Lokaayukta and made ACB. Even before ACB, complaints were there. Not less than 55 crores was the misappropriation.
So 1 minute, sir. The cash was found. One minute, ma'am. Ma'am, the cash was found at the residence and office of the BJP MLA from Devangere Madal Vishapa. Yeah, okay. Ma'am, it was found at the residence and office of both the MLA and the son.
He was not arrested.
No, ma'am. You know, there's little point in shouting. There's little point in shouting, ma'am.
Only Bomma is government.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, if you're going to shout, ma'am, we can't hear you.
And take an action.
Ma'am, the cash has been found at the residence and office of the BJP MLA and his bureaucrat son. So my question to you is, ma'am, why don't you condemn this issue?
Please correct yourself. Not in MLA's house. Not in MLA's house. It was in the house of Mr. Prashant. And in
Prashant is his son.
Not in the house of Mr. MLA.
So the argument that you are making is that there is no link between the son and the father. All right. Shyama Mohammed, would you like to respond to that? They are saying that the father is not accountable for what the son has done.
I mean,
Shama,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She's going on shouting.
Records must be put straight.
Okay, Pramila ji, can you allow Shama to say something? Shama, go ahead.
See, a couple of a couple of questions here. Definitely, it is the MLA involved in it. We all know that. There has been a 40% sarkar over there. I want to know why the Lokayukta has not even raided the rest of them. I mean, we know, constructors in charge, contractors they've even committed suicide regarding this issue. Lokayukta should have worked much before. Everybody knows it's a 40% sarkar. And we all know the history of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Karnataka. Who is the only leader from the Bharatiya Janata Party who's been convicted for corruption is Yediyurappa. He's gone to jail for corruption. We know that. So it is very clear that, and there is evidence of the 40% sarkar there. So I fail to understand why the Lokayukta has not acted upon all the rest of them. I mean, this is proof. There is evidence out there that this is a corrupt government and something has to be done, and find out who else are corrupt and put the rest behind bars, because people of Karnataka know, madam, that it's a done deal. Now you have evidence on camera and she says she has the audacity to say it's a father.
Pramila ji, why is it that the MLA Virupakshappa has been made accused number 1 in the bribery case by the Lokayukt and the charges which have been filed? Why is he accused number 1 if you say that he's not involved?
I am telling you, see, normally a complaint when it is lodged, because it happened with the MLA son. MLA has been made the A1. It will come out when the truth, during the investigation. I am not concerned with that. I do not know who the lady who spoke just before. Cheetah says, everyone knows. Everyone in Karnataka also knows what was the Judge Kampanna's report, what happened in Arkavati case, and what happened, why the complaint was not placed. The finding has been given that Siddaramaiah is culprit. And what has happened? What is about the Lulu market? The Minerva circle, lands have been taken away by DK Shivkumar. What is happening? You must know that.
Can I come in, Vishnu?
Pramila ji, 1 second. Pramila, let Shama respond. Pramila ji, 1 second. Let Shama respond.
So, Pramila ji, it is your government. You are saying Siddaramaiah is corrupt. Yes, please go and arrest him. Show the evidence. No, you are saying Siddaramaiah is corrupt for something. Your government is in charge. Your government is corrupt. Go and arrest him. You are saying
our government, they will not hesitate. They have taken action against their own.
She's not letting me talk, Vishnu. I need to.
All right, Pramila ji, you will reply once she asks a question. Let her make a point and I'll come to you. So if you please let her make a point and none will interrupt. Please go ahead, Shama.
Why
Pramila ji,
I'll answer. Allow me to answer.
No, ma'am, she has to ask you a question for you to be able to answer.
Enquiry is going on.
Pramila ji, let her ask a question. Ma'am, I can't have a debate like this. You are on national television.
Yes.
Will you please let Shama ask a question so that you can answer?
I'll answer.
Will you let her ask a question? Because there's no point otherwise, no.
Pramila ji, you have mentioned that Siddaramaiah, you have alleged that he's corrupt. Your government is in power. Why don't you go and investigate him? Arrest him. You have the power to do that.
All right, that's your question. Let's get an answer.
Number two.
No. One question at a time, please. One question at a time. Please go ahead.
The school association has written to Prime Minister.
All right, let's bring down both their audios. Let's bring down both their sounds. I've tried my best to try and bring structure to this, but unfortunately that's not going to take place. We're going to wrap this up over here. Serious allegations of corruption against the BJP in Karnataka. Now this is politically sensitive in an election year in the state. What's the impact going to be? We leave it over there from all of us here. Good night.